Okay, if you've ever tried to run an e-commerce store with products from different suppliers, you know the feeling. It's just chaos. The data they send you is messy, it's all over the place, and it can totally wreck your customer's experience. So today, we're going to dig into a really smart solution for this exact problem, a tool that's built to bring some sanity back to all that data chaos.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll dive into what I'm calling the multi-vendor nightmare to really see why this is such a headache. Then we'll uncover this hidden little trap called the fulfillment catch that stops most people from fixing it. After that, we'll look at a parallel solution, walk through the 4 steps to clarity that make it work, and finally, see what the Attributify advantage is all about.
All right, let's get right into it. The whole problem really starts the second you begin working with more than one supplier. You see, every vendor has their own way of doing things, their own names for colors and sizes, and all of that inconsistency gets dumped right onto your storefront.
I mean, just put yourself in your customer's shoes for a minute. You want to buy a blue shirt. Should be easy, right? You head over to the color filter, and instead of one nice simple option for blue, you get this mess. It's confusing, it's cluttered, and honestly, it just makes your store look kind of sloppy and hard to use.
And this right here is the source of the whole problem. It's not that your vendors are being difficult on purpose, it's just that they all have their own systems. So vendor A calls it royal blue, vendor B calls it navy, and maybe an international supplier, vendor D, just calls it Azul. The problem is, your store's filter thinks these are all totally different colors, which is how you end up with a filter that's basically useless.
Now you're probably thinking, well, the solution is obvious. Just change it all to blue. And you're right, that seems simple. But there's a huge catch. There's this hidden technical problem that trips up pretty much everyone and turns this easy fix into a real nightmare. And that is the question everyone asks. Why can't I just go into my product catalog, grab all these messy names, and just bulk edit them to be one nice clean blue? It seems like it should take, 5 minutes?
And boom, here's the reason you can't. A lot of stores, especially dropshipping stores, rely on these automated fulfillment apps. And the way they work is by looking for an exact match. They look for the name Royal Blue in your store, and they match it to the exact same name in your vendor's system. The second you change Royal Blue to just blue, the app has no idea what you're talking about. The link is broken, and your fulfillment just stops working.
So this leaves you with this impossible choice. You can either have clean, professional filters that your customers can actually use, but your orders won't get fulfilled automatically. Or you can have your orders processed smoothly in the background, but your storefront is a total mess. It's the classic catch-22 of e-commerce. You just can't win.
But what if you didn't have to choose? What if there was a way to get around the problem instead of trying to plow through it? This is where a totally different way of thinking comes in, one that's designed to solve this exact problem without breaking anything.
The big idea here is actually really elegant because it's what you'd call non-destructive. See, instead of changing or deleting the original messy data, the data your fulfillment app needs, you create a totally separate parallel layer of data. Think of it like a translation layer that sits on top of everything, holding all the clean, perfect data for your customers. And the magic piece of tech that makes this whole thing possible, at least on Shopify, is something called a metafield. The best way to think of it is like a custom field, or maybe even like a digital sticky note that you can attach to a product. It lets you add all this new, clean information, like your standardized color, without ever changing the original product details your fulfillment app is looking for.
This slide lays it all out perfectly. You've basically got 2 layers of data living on the same product. Over on the left, you have the original data, Royal Blue, that's left completely alone for all your back-end apps. And then on the right, you have this new metafield that Attributify creates, which holds the clean, simple value blue, just for your storefront filters. And here's how it all works together. The original data, the messy stuff, gets sent straight to your fulfillment apps, so orders just keep processing no problem. At the exact same time, that clean, standardized metafield data gets sent to your storefront filters, so your customers see that one simple blue option. Everybody wins. Both systems get what they need, and everything just works.
Okay, so the concept makes sense. But what does it actually look like to set this up? Well, it's actually a super simple 4-step process that takes you from total chaos to crystal clear filters.
It's really pretty automatic. First, the app just scans all your products and pulls out the attributes you care about. Then, step 2 is where you come in. You create really simple rules. You're basically just telling the app, hey, anytime you see royal blue or navy or azul, just know that I mean blue. Third, the app takes those rules and automatically writes the clean values into the metafields for you. And finally, poof,
Your storefront filters are instantly clean. It's pretty much a set it and forget it kind of deal.
So you might be thinking, okay, this is one way to do it, but what about other tools? And that's a fair question. So let's see how this whole metafield approach compares to some of the other options out there, from the giant enterprise systems all the way down to simple bulk editors.
Let's start with the big guns, PIMs, or Product Information Management Systems. I mean, these are the super powerful enterprise-level platforms built to handle enormous product catalogs. So why wouldn't a store just use one of those?
Well, a quick look at this chart shows you why. PIMs are incredibly expensive. They can take months and months to set up, and you often need a whole tech team to run them. But for our specific problem, the real deal breaker is that last row, fulfillment safety. You see, most PIMs are designed to replace your source data, and we already know what that does. It breaks your fulfillment. This solution, on the other hand, is built from the ground up to preserve that data, which is what makes it safe.
Okay, so what about the other end of the spectrum? Why not just use a simple bulk editor app? Well, they have the exact same fatal flaw. They change the original source data, which, you guessed it, breaks fulfillment. They don't create that safe parallel layer. Plus, it's all manual work. Every time you get new products, you have to do it all over again. You're constantly chasing your tail.
So when you really boil it all down, this whole approach is designed to give you the best of both worlds. You get the clean, professional filters that your customers absolutely need. Your original data stays completely untouched, so all your back-end systems keep running smoothly, and the whole thing is automated, so you're not stuck doing manual data entry all day.
Honestly, this tagline on the slide just nails it. Your vendors send chaos, your customers see clarity. The whole point is to be that bridge, that translator that sits between the messy reality of sourcing products and the simple, clean shopping experience that you want to give your customers. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many sales are lost every single day, not because a store doesn't have the right product, but simply because a customer got frustrated and couldn't find it buried in a messy filter?